Being a Spider-Man comic fan in recent years has been rough. I know, right? Disliking a comic book is just one of life's greatest challenges. But really, for a character doing well in almost all other mediums, basically everyone hates the current direction of Spider-Man comics. If only there was another ongoing comic for fans of the character to read that pretty much ignores all the changes people have hated in the past decade. Oh wait, there is. It's a little something called Ultimate Spider-Man. But wait a second, wasn't there already a comic series called Ultimate Spider-Man that was completely different? Well, sort of. Let's rewind the clock and talk about it. Around the early 2000s, when the original Ultimate Marvel Universe began, Spidey was in a very different spot. In the regular comic series, his identity was public to the world, he was married to Mary Jane Watson, and Aunt May was nearly killed. Nearly. More on that in a little bit. On the flip side, the original Ultimate Marvel Universe provided a younger version of Spider-Man back in high school with a secret identity, fighting classic villains with unique takes on the characters. Unfortunately, the original Ultimate Marvel Universe would go completely off the rails, including the death of Peter Parker, while things would also take a turn for the worse with Spider-Man in the regular comic series, leaving fans without much hope. Remember what I said about Aunt May dying? Well, this brings us to an infamous story called One More Day, which, to summarize real quick, involves Spider-Man making a deal with the demon Mephisto to sacrifice his marriage with MJ to revive Aunt May and restore his secret identity. Effectively, it reset so much progress on the character, restoring him to his status quo, but undoing so many important events. Most would agree that this decision significantly harmed the character and to this day has been stuck in a rut in terms of character progression. It's not like it's all been bad, that would be absurd to say, but there are certain things about maturing the character of Spider-Man and restoring certain choices before the whole One More Day storyline that progressed them in a way that made sense that just haven't been re-implemented, and people still aren't happy about these lack of changes. So, with all of that said, that brings us to the all-new Marvel Ultimate Universe. To make a very long story short, Mr. Fantastic of the original Ultimate Marvel Universe became a bad guy, traveled to another world, and tampered with events to take it over, changing the fates of certain heroes. In the case of Spider-Man, Peter Parker would not become a hero until he was already an adult, married to Mary Jane Watson with kids of his own. There are some other differences as well, like Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin being a good guy, and Uncle Ben being alive instead of Aunt May, but the fundamental story setup should give you a clue as to why this series is so popular after only 11 issues. From the awesome art by Marco Checchetto to the great writing by Jonathan Hickman comes this easily accessible series that provides a fresh jumping in point for Spider-Man fans, while at the same time, it finally provides an answer to the problems so many people have had with the lack of character progression for Spider-Man and these other characters in the main series. And the fact that this is set in its own continuity also means they have the freedom to do pretty much whatever they want with it. So on top of just being a good comic in its own right, you should go out and read it yourself, alright? I'm not just gonna tell you all about it for you. It isn't tied down by the need to adhere to a status quo from the movies or the shows or whatever. That is honestly, it's harmed the reputation of the main series. Again, this is only 11 issues in, but with no signs of stopping, this might be what many fans have been looking for. There are other comics in this new Ultimate Universe as well, but given the context of where Spider-Man is at in the regular Marvel Universe, this Spidey-Man story has a lot more significance in the long run. And speaking of the long run, we can only hope that Ultimate Spider-Man comics, they don't go off the rails like they did before, but I think they're in safe hands. It has to be obvious to Marvel that people are not really happy with the current direction of Spider-Man comics, and given the recent success of this new Ultimate Spider-Man series after only 11 issues, I believe they're going to keep giving fans what they want. But who knows? Only time will tell. I'm hopeful, but let me know what you think in the comments below. You should read Ultimate Spider-Man 2024 if you haven't. I think it's pretty good. But yeah, that's all I've got, and I'll see y'all next time. Take care.